welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I'm sharing with you my December reading plans. December is a really busy month for me and for a lot of other people as well, I'm sure. So I don't have like a humongous list of books that I want to get to in the month of December. I have a few books that I'm buddy reading and things like that, and so those are more the priority books. But I do have like a list of books that I am working on finishing and would love to finish by the end of the year. And those are the bigger books that will be rounding out this list. So you may have already heard me mention this, but next year in my Patreon, we are going to be reading Lord of the Rings, which I'm so excited about. It's been years since I have reread these books, but they're actually probably the most reread books that I own other than the Bible. So I'm really excited to be rereading them again. And in December, I'm going to be reading The Hobbit, so that way I can hit the ground running with Fellowship of the Ring in January. Then we're reading The Two Towers in February and Return of the King in March. So really looking forward to reading this one. Hasn't been as long since I've read this one. This one was just probably a few years ago that I read it with my daughter. So I'm really excited to reread this one. I'm also part of Victoria from A Musical Bookworms Patreon. I think hers is called a Reader's Choice Patreon, which is really cool. And for December, we're reading a Christmas book, which is the autobiography of Santa Claus. And I'm really interested in this one because this one sounds like there's some kind of background on different cultures' perspectives on Santa. But then I think there's like a fantastical kind of twist where the main character ends up also meeting Santa for real. And so it just sounds like a really cozy, fun, Christmassy read. Speaking of cozy, Christmassy reads, I'm also going to be reading Jo's Boys by Louisa May Alcott. Every year for the past few years, I've read a Louisa May Alcott book during the holidays with my subscriber friend Alyssa. And so I asked her if she'd like to read Jo's Boys with me because we read Little Women 2 years ago. We read Little Men last year. This year, we're going to read Jo's Boys and finish out the trilogy. I'm really looking forward to reading this book. Her books are so cozy, and apparently that's like the theme so far of this TBR. I don't know if the other books really count as cozy, but the first few are really hitting the holiday vibes for me. Another buddy read that I have going on in the month of December is with my friend Penny. I have a list of books that I need to read by the end of this year or get rid of. And one of the books on that is, you can't even really see it, The Razor's Edge by Somerset Maugham. And I had this on my list and Penny asked if I wanted to read it with her. And so we're going to be doing that this month. It doesn't look like it's super long, like over 200 pages. Mine is actually signed. I got this at a Goodwill for like $1 and it's a signed copy. So that's kind of cool. I don't know anything about him, anything about his works. The only reason I'd even heard of him is because some of his books are on like one of those like classics you have to read before you die kind of thing. And I think there's one called like Of Human Bondage or something like that. And that one's usually listed more than The Razor's Edge. But when I saw this one, I ended up picking it up. The other book for my Read or Read project that I'm going to read in the month of December is The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. And I've read one of his books before and have very mixed feelings on it. That book has never let me go, and it was on my Read or Read project last year. And so I'm like, well, I need to read this one because I just don't know. So we'll see how I feel about this one. I know that this is totally different, where I feel like Never Let Me Go is kind of more, I don't even know, dystopian almost. I don't even know if that's the right word. It's like a mishmash of all kinds of different things. And this, I think, is historical fiction. So it's going to have a very different feel. I really do want to do some more for my Read or Read project because I've not been doing very well at keeping up with those this year, as you may have noticed. So I'm also going to be doing a try a chapter vlog, which I've already started actually in the beginning of November, and then I didn't read very many of them. So this is going to be a vlog that spans a nice little amount of time as I'm trying to at least try a chapter of these books before I get rid of them. The last few books I have on here are books that I really want to finish by the end of the year, and they're all really big books. So we'll see. So first up on that list is Don Quixote, which I started actually, I think in May I was reading it, and I was having a really hard time with it, and I felt like it was really repetitive and kind of boring. I got about 40% of the way through, and I was like, this is one that I'll probably come back to, but I don't know when. And so I'm gonna try to read it and finish it in the month of December. We'll see whether or not that actually happens. I just recently read a King Arthur book with my daughter, Howard Pyle's King Arthur and His Knights. And we enjoyed that, but there's so much about chivalry and stuff in that book that I think would give lots of context to Don Quixote for me that I was missing when I read it the first time, because as we're reading King Arthur, so much of it was reminding me of Don Quixote. So I'm going to try to pick this back up. Again, holidays are a busy time, so I don't know if I'll get this finished or not, but I really hope so. One that I'm actually really close to finishing, and I'm kind of ashamed that I haven't finished it yet, is Nicholas Nickleby by Charles Dickens. This was a Victober read that I fell really behind on, and then as a result, never quite caught up. I am like 85% through at the time of filming this video, so there's a chance that I'll finish this at the end of November, but I kind of doubt it with the other books that I need to finish the last week of November. So we'll see. It's a possibility that this will be done before I hit December, but I kind of doubt it. But this is a very achievable one to finish because I think I have like, I don't know, 150, maybe 200 pages left. So this one's achievable. And the last really big book that I would like to finish in the month of December, which is again, maybe a bit lofty, is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. I have started this, but I'm not very far in it. I don't even know. Is there a bookmark? There is a bookmark. Look at that little tiny bit. I am reading this with my friend, Whitney Drew. We have been reading through the Stormlight Archives together this year, along with other Cosmere books that are recommended to be sprinkled in as you read. So this is our last book in the Cosmere that we were planning to read together, because book 5 comes out in 2024. So I really would like to finish this in December because I'd really like to start fresh in January. But if this one carries into January, I'm okay with that. I'm apparently incapable of being able to read an entire Stormlight book in the course of a month. It actually takes me closer to 2. Like 6 weeks is about good for me if I'm reading a bunch of other books, and as you can see, I am. So we'll see whether or not I finish this. I hope that I will. I think that I'll really enjoy it because so far Oathbringer has been my favorite one. I've heard lots of people say that this is their least favorite, but I've heard some people say that Oathbringer is their least favorite, and I really enjoyed Oathbringer, so I still have high hopes for this. Brandon Sanderson tends not to let me down, even if it's a book that I struggle with at various points. That Sanderlanche at the end always bumps it up pretty high in my estimation. So this is one of those videos that when I was preparing, I was like, I feel like I am forgetting something. But I looked at my notes and I don't have any other books listed, and I know that this is a decent amount of books, but I mean, there's really only a few books that I'm like, oh, I'm for sure reading these this month. I think there was like 5 books that I'm like, yes, I'm reading these this month. And then there are some longer books that I'd like to finish, and then I'd like to try at least a chapter from each of my Read or Rid project books, which I've already made some progress on. So those are my plans. If I have forgotten you in some way and said I would read something with you, and because like I said, I feel like I'm forgetting something, then please let me know in the comments. Also, let me know what you're up to. What are you reading in the month of December? Have you read any of the books that I'm planning on reading? I would love to hear your thoughts and hear what are you really excited about reading in the month of December. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me, and I will see you again next time.